I want to come right to the point in the interest of time and say this, that my theological rationale fundamentally for a real enjoyment of life is this, that if I understand the incarnation of our Lord Jesus Christ, at least partly correctly, then I understand that God assumed human matter when he assumed manhood in Jesus Christ. That God assumed human matter into the Godhead. Notice what I'm saying. That God assumed human matter into the Godhead. God took a human body into the Godhead forever. And my thoughts are very much influenced theologically here by the great Dietrich Bonhoeffer. And I believe that Dietrich Bonhoeffer was correct when he said that the Christian now cannot have God without the world. Of course, he wasn't advocating a worldly sort of going on. Of course, he wasn't advocating that. But what he was advocating was that in the incarnation, God and the world were united in Jesus Christ, and you can no longer have the one without the other. What is evil is not a love for the world and an enjoyment of life as such, but an attempt to have the world without God, or an attempt to have the world in such a way that it denies God. That is evil. But it is not evil to realize that God and the world are united in Jesus Christ, in the incarnation, and you cannot have one without the other now. And one of the tragic elements in so much evangelical Christianity is that the religious adherents are world haters. They are not able, many of them, to appreciate the wonderful gifts of God in this life. Many of them don't give two hoots about good music, for instance. Many of them don't like good literature. Many of them wouldn't be seen dead at a cinema or a play. Many of them think that opera and the devil are synonymous. Art, sculpture, whatever it might be, it's a terrible thing that evangelical religion has produced a race of barbarians. And it all springs, I believe, basically from this false notion that the world somehow automatically is evil. Every part thereof. That won't even stand up on a good doctrine of common grace apart from anything else, let alone a proper Christian view of God as the creator of the universe, who has indulged his people. Well, you've only got to look through the Gospels to see, what I would call the divine extravagance in many respects. When Jesus fed the 5,000, there were 12 baskets full over. That's not stinginess. When he turned the water into wine, he didn't skimp, did he? As I said the other day, there's much evidence that Jesus was the life of the party. And sinful people loved him. And it's a great pity that they don't love the church. Oh, I know, we can rationalize it and say there's this antithesis between light and darkness, the devil and the people of God. We can rationalize it and say the spirit will fight against the flesh, and all that is true. But Christians ought to be likable people. They ought to be likable people. But instead they're often so narrow and so stingy and so barbaric and so unappreciative of the good things of life that no self-respecting pagan would ever come within a distant cooey of them. It's a great tragedy. I want you to look into a positive biblical approach to the world as an expression of Christian freedom. Not worldliness. Not worldliness. When the Bible talks about world in verses like love not the world nor the things that are in the world, it means when the world sets its face against God, anti-Christian principles. which we should oppose and always oppose. But Jesus apparently took time to notice the lilies of the field. You've only got to read the Proverbs to see that part and parcel of wisdom in the Old Testament was a great appreciation of even the minutest things of life at times. The ant was used as an illustration. A lazy man was likened to a door turning on its hinges. Biblical religion is a religion that is designed by God to produce mental health. Not a religion that is designed by God to make the people inhibited, introspective, introverted, narrow, unloving, and despairing people with a terribly pessimistic view of themselves and everyone else around them. There are many reasons why I think that we've imbibed that type of attitude. And it would take too long to go into them all, and perhaps some of them will come out in the question time. I hope they do, because I hope that you will come back with some of these things. But Christianity is a religion of freedom, not a religion of bondage. The spirit that we have received is a spirit of freedom, and not the spirit of slavery, whereby we slip back into fear, but one that enables us to cry, Abba, Father.